Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Jackson. I'm actually very excited. This is our debut QUALEX Live episode. We are going to be chock full of lots of information. This actual episode is entitled AI on the Red Carpet. Man, do we have some people talking about that. So we have two interviews that is going to be happening today. Our first interview is going to be with a startup called Get It Made. This startup is focused on everything it takes to have anybody who has an idea or want to be filmmaker to get that film made, including the financing, including all the little details, legal frameworks, that type of thing, using technologies such as AI. So very excited about interviewing them. And then our next interview that we're going to be having, which is pretty, how would I say, creative in nature. We're going to be going to Brooklyn, New York, talking to DEPRESSOS Studios, which is probably, I would say, a hilarious interview, a little different than your norm. But we'll be talking to multi-Grammy Award winner Bassy Bob and Johnny, talking about what they're doing with the music industry and the clash around that. So with that being said, let's get started with our first episode of QUALEX Live.
QUALEX Live.
Welcome to the monthly deep dive into the innovations shaping tomorrow.
The future starts now.
All right. What if you could reverse engineer success for Hollywood? What if you could spring load the distribution process before the cameras even start rolling? Today, we're going to be joined by two innovators who are doing exactly that. Matt and Sylvie Boda, the founders of Get It Made. Matt and Sylvie are breaking the traditional Hollywood gatekeeper model. They have built a platform that takes a script and pushes it through the entire process, moving it from a raw concept into an undeniable story package. But they don't just stop at creative development. They have effectively automated the vast, messy ecosystem of details that usually sink a production, from legal frameworks and location scouting to casting and finance. They built tools using AI and other technologies that handled the thousands of moving parts that production companies, financiers, and film distribution companies need to see before they take an interest. Matt, with his background in the trenches as a writer, actor, and filmmaker, and Sylvie, with her expertise in advertising and marketing. They're going to take us behind the curtain, and we're going to see how the sausage of movie making actually gets made, and assisting storytellers to do what they do best, tell stories on the big screen. And here's Sylvie talking about how Get It Made got made.
My name is Sylvie, and I'm one of the co-founders of Get It Made. And I love what we do, and I'm really excited to kind of talk about it today. My role in the company is really to ensure that our creators really understand the business and the marketing side of the industry. So the way that I sort of compliment Matt, who will speak for himself, is that he's the filmmaker and I'm the brains and the business behind it all. So I'll throw it over to Matt.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for that, Sylvie. We're pretty much a perfect team. Like Sylvie said, Get It Made is a platform for anyone, anywhere in the world with a story idea to come to us, and we help package their idea at the highest level for sale to the studios or the streamers or for production. We started as a production company, and then we wanted to get into the original IP game. And, you know, we both had the, missing pieces to the puzzle, right? I am a filmmaker. I know how to use all of the equipment, and I can edit and, have a production company. And then Sylvie's done marketing for Fortune 500 companies like Beats and Samsung and Discovery. So together we had both sides, right? Like I can help with the development aspects and the production side. And then Sylvie is able to get those projects out there and, do all the tech stuff. We have our own mobile and desktop app. And so she's able to take care of all that while I'm taking care of the creative part.
How did you get here, and how did you find each other?
Ladies first.
I'll just talk about a little bit of my background. So I come from brand marketing. Matt mentioned some of the companies I worked for before. The reason for us coming together is really, it started during the pandemic when, Matt, through his own sort of personal journey, felt like the screenplay ecosystem was just not working for himself. And he had talked about why that wasn't working and how it was really only serving a very small percentage of people who actually win. Like imagine winning a lottery ticket. And, that really only takes care of, one or two individuals. And even then, that journey is a really difficult and long journey for that winner, right? So Matt and I talked about just, how do we help 99% of the people who are trying to have a shot at this with their original IP. So the way we really started this was really the idea of, coming together with this mission and bringing our complementary experiences to really do that. And, at the end of the day, Matt really loves filmmaking and he just wants to make movies. And this really enabled him to make as many films as possible.
One thing I do wanted to ask before I jumped over to Matt is so did you ever envision yourself being in the entertainment business, or were you always going to be on the technology side? Like, how do you find the journey to get where you are now?
So I would consider myself like a independent film cinephile, so I love movies, I love TV shows, and that's one of the things that Matt and I always talked about is like I think probably one of our core memories is really like watching Game of Thrones together and really like enjoying that experience, right? So applying that to a professional sort of experience, I really felt like the journey was meant to be. I was working, on the advertising side for companies like Chevrolet and AutoNation in the auto business. And then I transitioned into working for Disney, Discovery, and family entertainment. And so I also worked at a startup that created a business model that was very new, which was credits instead of subscriptions. And so, you could access multiple platforms using credits, just like ClassPass, right? So, so I, just organically sort of fell into film and entertainment, and then our mutual interests sort of aligned as well. And so that's the answer, really.
Wow, that's great. And Matt, like for you, what was it that drove you to like, okay, I'm going to pause my story writing or my filmmaking to help others write stories in filmmaking? Like what led you to that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. It's funny because, I spent a lot of time trying to tell my stories.
Yeah,
and
right.
It just really wasn't getting the kind of traction that I was looking for.
Yeah.
And so once I stopped sort of thinking about myself, I started to, and then, turned my eye to others and trying to help them. That's when things really started to materialize. And it's just sort of like, it is through giving that one receives,
I agree. It's karma. By the way, especially in filmmaking, karma is a bitch, literally, and it can also help you. So I love where you're going with that.
Yeah. So, I came here at 25. I'm 42 now. So I've been doing this for about 17 years. And I started with the acting, and I just, couldn't really have an emotional experience while the camera was on because I was so interested in all the, what was going on behind the camera. So I made a decision, and also I was a writer. So I made a decision. I said, I need to go learn how to make a movie.
Yeah.
Because, the acting coach, the one thing I did get out of that class was the acting coach said, you have to go make your own stuff. And so I was like, well, I'm going to pause this. I'm going to go learn how to make my own movie. And that's when I started working from the bottom on sets, doing whatever I could. And I landed myself in IATSE, which is the labor unions. So, professional filmmakers are represented by labor unions. And I landed in IATSE 728, local 728. So that's for set lighting. So I started working on big movies and big TV shows, and I started making money, back in 2012, would make $500 a day. And I was just like, oh my God, so I would pay my bills, and then my surplus would go towards making content. And that's when I started directing and, writing and directing and producing. And then through that journey, I also learned how to edit really well. So the journey really, spun out of, the barriers that I faced, trying to serve myself. And, so what I found was that there was a lot of other people that didn't have the skills that I have. And I thought, well, if we all team up, there's got to be a better chance for us all. So that's really how Get It Made, sort of came to be. We're not, we're writer agnostic, right? We'll work with anyone who has a story idea.
Yeah. And is there, so far as I know it's brand new, you've just kind of kickstarted it. Is there any successes already, or some successes that are starting to build from the Get It Made platform?
Yeah, definitely. The shirt I'm wearing right now is actually from one of the films that we made. It's actually very unique. It's called Plight. And it's kind of like a dystopian version of Stand By Me, but all the actors are young actors with autism.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and everybody says the same thing. Like, oh, wow. The movie turned out amazing.
My sister Ronnie is in charge at the city. I need you to go on an adventure. The list of my sister, it's a list of essentials. Yet what we need to survive.
It's time to go.
The road will be long and hard. Ration your food and use the land. And make sure to keep the letter safe at all costs.
I forgot the letter.
I got you.
Hold on! We're playing it in various theaters, and we had a kickoff screening at the Regal in Sherman Oaks. So we do have that connection with Regal. And Sean Baker came and on the heels, like 2 months before, having become the most legendary filmmaker of all time, having won 5 Oscars in a single night for a single project. The only person that came close was a gentleman by the name of Walt Disney, but he won 4 Oscars in a night for 2 different projects. So Sean swept through and done something that nobody has done. And I know Sean from working on one of his movies. So he came out, 2 months after that and moderated our Q&A, because Sean's known for like plucking people off the street and putting them in a Hollywood movie. And that's sort of what we did. 3 of our actors had never acted in a Hollywood movie before, and one of them had done a feature once before. So that movie's called Plight, and people can find out more about it by going to watchplightmovie.com.
We'll be putting that right down here as we go live with this. One of my favorite movies of his is, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, was Florida Project. I really loved the Florida Project a lot. I just thought, and also that William Dafoe worked for these actors who'd never acted before. And remember, those actors were 7, 8 years old. That was just an incredible movie. But Plight, I'm super excited about. And that brings in the technology aspect of it. What I really love about Get It Made is not just about getting it made. You've also introduced some AI tools. And AI seems to have been a dirty word, especially within the unions. As you know, all of the guild and the Writers Guild. I had some friends who were part of that voting for AI that when they were on strike. How are you working with trying to create AI? Because you have a technology called Stora, which I think is very, very powerful. I'd love for you guys to talk about that, and then talk about how do you weave that into an accepting conversation for people who create?
Yeah, that's a great question, Gary. You lots of insight. You've obviously got lots of knowledge here. So Get It Made is our white glove service.
Okay.
Right? What we've found out is that the granular work of going scene by scene, line by line with a producer to get that material, that's really where the rubber hits the road. Now, the price point of being $99 a month, some people, they can't see themselves, putting that kind of money out there, right? To me, someone who spent $250,000 on my own portfolio, I think that's nothing at all. But
it's nothing.
People think that they're going to be the next Cinderella story. They're going to win some screenplay contest, and then they're going to get a call and they're going to sell their script for $1 million. It just doesn't happen. the people that we see it that it really happens with are the people that are dedicated and committed and do that granular work and then stick around long enough for the miracle to happen, right? There's only one guarantee, and that is it won't happen if you quit. So
Right.
Get It Made is really that white glove service where we, work one-on-one with folks, and there's that community and there's that human interaction, which, filmmaking is such a huge part of. Now, in terms of technology, it's amazing. We don't want the AI to write for us. We don't need, but in order to create the assets that studios crave, like pitch decks, market analysis, teaser trailers, things like that, AI has really brought that into the hands of the creator. Now, a lot of writers don't want to go out and learn a bunch of AI tools either. So what Stora does is it wraps in all those AI tools into one really simple to use platform. And that's simply a product of Get It Made. And the price point is much lower. It's $19.99 a month. It's a self-service software. Writer can go on there and work with the computer to get themselves as far as they can go. And then they can submit it to Get It Made or to our intellectual property catalog for consideration to, be on that catalog.
Yeah.
And one thing I would like to add real quick is that even if you wrote the next great American screenplay and every word was in the perfect place, that's 10% of the process. The other 90% is the business side of it all. And the assets that the AI are creating will never see the light of day. They're used for a studio to make a decision, or for a buyer, or for an independent producer to make a decision if it's worth pursuing purchasing the material or producing the material. So it still all comes down to the screenplay. That's what's
right. And one thing that I also wanted to say too is, as you're working through this, have you thought about working with the film schools? I mean, this would be a great tool for all film schools to just say, look, we're going to focus on teaching. Here's your automation to get kind of build all the collateral you need to get greenlit. Is that kind of a strategy, or am I talking out my ass?
No. That's that. I mean, we'd love to work with film schools. We had a close, but it didn't happen, partnership with the Nashville Film Institute, right? Is that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we were going to, do something with them, but they came back and said that they didn't want it to interrupt their current curriculum, right? Like, weird. So, and for us, as far as we're concerned, we're a replacement for film school. It's, you spend $200,000. A lot of people go there for the experience, right? They go and make movies with their classmates, and you're making movies with people who don't know how to make movies. So the 99% of that material is not a good representation of your ability to tell a story. So with Get It Made, it's 1/100th of the cost. And you're working with professionals to skip all of the BS essentially and go right to the core, which is a good story packaged for consideration for the people that matter, such as the gatekeepers at studios and streamers.
What are like your top 3 movies, both of you, like that changed? You're like, oh yeah, I want to be a filmmaker, or I want to be part of this world. Was there 3 films that you go to and you're like, oh yeah, this changed me?
I wanted to give Sylvie more time to think. Do you know what your 3 are?
I do know mine are going to be short answers because, watching movies wasn't why I got into this. I think Matt, his answers are probably going to be similar to yours because you guys are like driven by filmmaking and, I'll just tell you like some of my favorites.
And by the way, there's no judgment. We're not going to be snooty and like, she likes this movie. No, we're not going to do that.
One of my favorite classics that most people don't know about is For a Dream.
It's a great movie.
It's a very dark movie, but it was
very
one of my
dark
favorite movies. And I think that when I first watched that, I felt like, wow, filmmaking really can tell original stories, and it could be really relatable and heartbreaking. And that sort of fast forward to, I think, 2020, 2019 or something, The Farewell. Remember that film? So I feel like Requiem and The Farewell really sort of those are movies that really touch me, and any type of movies like that. It's like the human story. I love, but right now my favorite is K-pop Demon Hunters. So
say it again. I'm sorry. What was that called?
it's Netflix K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, nice. Okay. I gotta watch that now.
It's set to be the Netflix #1 feature film globally. So
Yeah, I mean, I've got one movie that changed my life. When I was 16, I walked into the theater, and that was Fight Club.
Right. Yes. I agree. That was an impactful movie.
Yeah. So I walked in there, I saw it, I didn't understand it, and I was with my buddy Brett, and I was like, I don't get it. And he goes, we got to go back in there. So we watched it again. We went back in and bought another ticket and watched it again. And when I came out, I was like, I get it.
I get it.
So that was, and it's still today, like my favorite film of all time. I can watch it. It stands the test of time. And then right after that, so I was a big anime fan growing up. So Neon Genesis Evangelion, Hideki Anno, he's been making multiple versions of this series, and then he made 4 movies of it. So Neon Genesis is, one of the most influential projects. I mean, it is a TV show that I've ever seen. And then I'd have to say the third one is probably Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh yeah, that was a great movie. Yeah, great movie. One day we should just create a series just talking about this, because this is very exciting. But it's an honor to have both of you. And you know what I'm excited about is in about 6 months, 18 months, as you're starting to get these movies made, I'm very, very excited about saying, oh, I just saw this movie. And you're part of the conversation. It wouldn't have gotten made if you hadn't have made this startup. So I'm really, really honored that you guys went ahead and threw this into existence, because there's a lot of stories that would just kind of sit on the wayside. The goal here is just, do you have any encouragement? I guess the question okay, this is my 5th time saying my last thing to say. Any last words of encouragement for that wannabe storyteller to use Get It Made?
You can go ahead first, Sylvie. Ladies first.
I feel like he's just throwing it to you, Sylvie, so he can think of what he's going to say.
That's okay. I was maybe I'll tie this back to just like our broad, mission. And really it is about giving underrepresented storytellers, as we call them, people who don't have resources or opportunities or access, at a real shot at the filmmaking process and the support that we're able to provide. I think that's what we really are set out to do, and hopefully you can help as many people as possible. And I'll turn it over to Matt. That's
great.
Yeah, I would say a word of advice is no one is going to care about your story as much as you do. So if you're not in it to win it, if you're not trying to bleed to make it happen, the people, there are plenty of people that are, that pick up their whole lives and move to Los Angeles and live in their car and can't live without telling a story. And those people are going to be the ones that make it. So no one's going to care as much as you do about your story. So ultimately you've got to find every possible way that you can make it happen. And a big part of why people skip the line is because they make it a priority. You know what I mean? They forego that cup of coffee so they can save up the money to go and get X, Y, and Z. So, nobody's going to care as much as you do.
Wow, that's a great way to end this. Thank you so much. I definitely want to kind of revisit you guys in a couple of months, and I'm looking forward to doing a couple of film premieres with you guys on the red carpet all around the United States or around the world.
Around the world, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Sylvie. Thank you, Matt. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Get It Made is a chance to actually see your stuff created. It's a chance to write something and learn from the process and see your words on screen.
So often, it's all in your head or on your computer. Your friends read it, you send it out, you get feedback, but it's kind of nebulous.
As a writer, normally you just write something and you throw it over the fence and hopefully they make it like you want it. When I got to do Get It Made, every single decision was mine.
When I found out that I won, I was actually in shock. My husband and I were watching the YouTube announcement together, and when Matt said my name,
congratulations, Miss Monica Romero.
I actually thought he was just getting started on the last round of finalists. My husband turned to me and said, "No, that's you. He just said your name, you actually won."
Winning Get It Made was life-changing. Just the idea that I would have a produced product, something that I had made up, and all of a sudden it was going to become a reality.
All right. I love them. I'm very, very excited about seeing where they're going to go and some of the movies they're going to get made. Okay. Now, our second segment, buckle up. It's kind of goes off the rails in the best possible way. We're going to go into the heart of Brooklyn, New York. We've managed to corner two absolute gems in the entertainment industry. First up, we're going to have the sound wonderkind himself, Jonathan Vergara. And next is a legendary multi-Grammy award winner who has mixed everyone from Notorious B.I.G. to Prince to Reverend Al Green to Faith Hill. And that's Bassy Bob Brockmann. Together, they are the masterminds behind Los DEPRESSOS Studios. Now, fair warning to our audience. Well, these two people are geniuses and very good friends of mine. They're great at sculpting sound. They are famously creative with their words and creativity and creative with their cameras. Sometimes their shots are tilted or focused on a patch of drywall. Don't adjust your screens. That's just their vibe. But we're not here for cinematography. We're here because they have some explosive views on the collision between analog and AI. And we're going to talk about the future of the industry, how technology is currently clashing with the creatives who use it, and why the good old days might just be the blueprint for the future. But note, trigger warning, this interview is everything but depressing, so much so we have to have a legal disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this segment are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of QUALEX Consulting Services. And with that, let me introduce you to Bassy and Johnny.
By the way, too, I'm just letting people at home know, porn is not Pornhub, it is Hornhub, because you got famous because of horns. People call you Bassy, but the backstory, you can look it up online. He was actually a horn player. He loves his horns. Trumpet, actually,
I think
correct?
my only connection to porn is people have sometimes said that I was horny.
You know what I heard about Bob?
And that's not a sexual comment. That's just
No, I know what you mean. You play horns. We get it. We get it. Go ahead. What do you say, Johnny?
Someone told me about Bob that he enjoys unprotected sex.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning. By the way, I'm just gonna go straight to a clip.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Zaina just left the building.
Zaina, our assistant.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Zaina, for all your minutes that you've served us.
Yeah, for all those minutes.
All those minutes, man. The minutes add up, actually.
They do. They do. They're like 4 or 5.
I think she was here about 5 minutes today.
Wow. That's a record.
Fortunately, we have like a micro-payment structure at Los DEPRESSOS.
Yeah.
So we can handle extremely low payments.
Well, we're using the Daniel Ek model. It's like 0.000001 cent per minute.
Per minute.
Per minute, yeah.
So she has like 0.000005 cents.
There you go.
It's cool by me.
It's not bad, actually. Not a bad rate.
It's not. It's the going rate.
Yeah.
It's not great.
It's not great, but it's what's going.
It's actually terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
But we're rolling with it because that's the way it goes these days.
Hey, man, we're just following the example.
We're just trying to be tech titans.
Exactly.
Tech titans in a small place.
That's right.
Where are we, Johnny?
Well, hey, welcome to the Los DEPRESSOS podcast.
Hey.
I'm with my friend, co-pilot, co-owner, Bassy Bob.
Glad to be here, John.
Glad to be here. I'm glad to be here too.
I don't think that this is the first, but it's one of many.
I don't think it's the first, but this might be the first time we actually successfully record.
Yeah, we did a couple that had no audio, and then one time the staff didn't turn on the cameras either.
Yeah.
And that was our best one, actually. We should have just quit there.
That was our best.
That's lost to the ether now.
Yeah, it's sad, but
it's lost to Ethereum. It's
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But Johnny, how did you get into music?
To My dad played guitar, but he still does. I think he's still alive. But he plays guitar, and I loved it. And we had a shared bond over Beatle records, Jimi Hendrix records. He had a huge, beautiful classic rock record vinyl collection, and we would listen
Just
to
like
that.
over there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I really got into music with my dad, listening to records. Hmm.
And then what was there? Was there a record that Bassy liked that you both say this is probably one of the greatest records ever made that you both kind of bond over, you and Bassy?
That me and Bassy bond over?
One vinyl.
I don't know. We like Steely Dan.
Oh, there we go.
No, I think we bond over the Beatles.
The Beatles.
Oh,
yeah.
Which one? White Album or what's your album?
Man, they're
Abbey-
all so good. Yeah.
All of them.
Even the early stuff we like.
We want to kill the son of
Yeah.
don't we?
Giles
Yeah.
Martin. Yeah, we
Giles
wanna kill
Martin.
Giles. Mhm.
So
That's
yeah, so before George Martin died, he sort of tasked his son, who's sort of a middling engineer, to like remix all the records and clean them all up.
Uh-huh.
And I think he did it on an SSL. It's so terrible. He just like ruined like one of the greatest canon of recordings in history.
But can't you go back to? You can go get the vinyl.
No, Spotify only has the new mixes. The only thing that Johnny and I
Oh.
can listen to that we can tolerate are basically the takes.
Huh.
But they're
Interesting.
not the full. They're not the full songs. They're just the tracking takes that are up on Spotify.
Well, let's talk about that. You're going against Spotify and Tidal. What's all about? First of all, I'm glad. I'm very proud of you. But why is it that you're not a big fan of Spotify and Tidal? Just put it out there.
Well, I mean, it's just income inequality. Like, why should the CEOs be pulling like $6 to $12 million salaries a year, and bands can't even like afford to tour or eat?
Yes, I get that.
I mean,
they have to tour and sell merch constantly.
Grossly unfair, and also I think that the algorithmic approach to serving up music to people as kind of like lifestyle entertainment is grotesque and
I agree.
Really ruins the listening experience. I mean, I remember where I was. I was in the car the other day and I put on like Al Green, and I wanted the record to play.
Reverend Al Green.
And I worked with Al Green. Al Green
Wow.
almost drove me back to New York City. I'm glad I didn't get in the car. But
Why?
anyway, that's another story for another day.
Okay.
It immediately switched to like Al Green radio, and then there's just like playing me some shit I don't even want to listen to. I wanted to listen to Al Green, and
I get you.
it always kicks in that almost immediately the algorithm takes over, and I feel like music occupies a much more important place in people's lives than just something to exercise or do your whatever, your creative or computer work while you're like lamping in Mexico City and like ruining people's lives down there.
I get
I don't know. It's just that everybody just seems like intent on ruining the lives of other people. I don't know what's wrong with humanity.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. If this alien that this comet, they call it a comet, which is heading towards us, they're saying if it's an alien, I would, one of the things I've been wanting is it'll arrive, and then afterwards you're like, and then they just blow up the internet. I mean, there's some things about the internet, but not having the internet for a couple of years would be kind of cool. We wouldn't be able to do this, obviously, but I'd come and see you more in New York.
Well, I know that a lot of the experiments that they've done with young people, where they just keep the phones away from them for during class or during the day, they respond almost immediately. It's like in the pandemic when nobody was polluting the Ganges River, which has been polluted for
so great
300 years, right?
Yeah.
All the rivers run
cleared up
pure after just like 6 months of just leaving nature alone. And I think the same applies to human beings. If you just leave people alone, it's part of the reason that we like to have these like public events at Los DEPRESSOS where everything is in real life,
Yes.
And we're not that draconian that we're like, put your phones away or, don't use your phones. But for the most part, people are just not using their phones because they're into hanging out with each other. It's not because we've banned it or we've said you can't you can't use your phone while you're at Los DEPRESSOS. I think that's a little bit
you don't put them in a bag.
Oppressive. And Johnny and I are constantly fighting against the agents of oppression and repression.
Well, I do want to bring up one important part. This is like the last question: succession. So I was bringing this up a little earlier. So Johnny,
best show ever.
It is a great show. It is a great show. But I'm talking about your succession, Bassy. So to find someone like Johnny that you're pouring your life into to create, all of these, Johnny, you probably know every story because you've heard it a million times. You're basically, we talk about clone. You're kind of his Samoan clone.
I'm never giving up the throne, Gary. I'm telling you that right now. I'm putting my brain in a fucking jar.
A friend of
run
mine
the studio from the jar.
A friend of mine said something really deep. He said, Bob's playing the long game with your life, and I was like, wow,
that is deep. I mean, is that a lot of pressure though, Johnny? I mean, here's Bassy, he's putting, all of his, by the way, if you think about this as a TV show like Succession, I don't mean to bring this up, but when his kids come around, you're like, yo, step away, kids. I'm the successor, not you, kids. I'm talking about his boys, by the way. No,
not at all.
Okay.
No, I don't. I don't think along those terms at all. I think we're just having a great adventure, and we're gonna go to wherever it takes us.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not. I don't think in terms of what's mine, what's someone else's.
Great.
I think Bob is still with it. His brain is still
He
functioning,
is.
and
Totally.
he is. Yeah,
barely.
He's hitting harder now than he's ever hit. Yeah.
I come out every day swinging, Jackson.
Yeah.
You do. And what about you?
Performs all the Gen Z and me too.
I know it. By the way, so Bassy, are your boys loving music? Are they getting into it? Are you bringing them up into music?
Yeah, I think they both really like music. I think my older son Finn, I think he takes his playlist a little bit more seriously than Max. I don't know that for a fact. I mean, the last 2 years I've spent more time with Finn because he was living with me for 6 months in New York. But I mean, he surprised me all the time, he would put on Edwyn Collins, it was one of my favorite songs, You Never Met a Guy Like Me. You know which song I'm talking about.
Yeah. I love that
Edwyn Collins song. That's his favorite song. And that's from 1974.
Wow. And by the way, too, do you ever, whenever he plays a song, you're like, I'm just letting you know I'm your dad, but I produced that. Do you ever do that? I did that song.
I think that happened with The Promise. He had The Promise in his playlist.
Oh, and you're like,
and I was like,
hey.
I mixed that song when I was 21.
Oh, what? And how old are your boys?
22 and 24.
Damn. Isn't that crazy? That
It's
when
insane.
you mix,
I still think of them as they're 5 and 7 years old,
Yeah, I know. And Johnny, are you gonna have kids? I think you would have amazing girls if you had kids.
Well, thanks, man. You want to date them?
No, I would love Johnny. I would love your daughters to date Bassy's boys, and then y'all are really family then. And y'all would make a super race of musicians.
I think by the time John has kids, the boys would be.
You know what we're gonna have? We're gonna have really good genes.
All right, you guys. Love you.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
You guys are awesome.
Man, I love them both. Very good friends. I know it's one of those interviews that's a little different than usual, but I really like that. And by the way, just like that, the first episode of QUALEX Live is in the books. I want to take a moment to thank everyone that did tune in live and is watching this in the future through a just replay or as we used to call it back in the 80s, a rerun. We set out to create a space for real conversations about the future, and thanks to you, we're off to a flying start. I want to give a massive shout out to our guests today. A huge shout out to Matt and Sylvie and Get It Made. Be sure to check out their latest film, Plight, and very excited about some of the other films that they're working on. And of course, we have to talk about that interview with Bassy and Johnny from Los DEPRESSOS Studios. But before we sign off, I do want to do a look ahead. Next month, we are going to be shifting gears to a topic that is close to my heart and vital to the tech landscape. We're going to be exploring how tribal casinos are walking a very specific and powerful line, adopting cutting-edge technologies like artificial intelligence to stay competitive, while at the same time trying to preserve Native American traditions. We'll look at how they are recruiting locally, and most importantly, how they are inspiring the next generation of technology leaders. It's going to be a fascinating look at the intersection of heritage and high tech. And until then, thank you for watching. And remember, the future starts now. Actually, not right now. What I want to do is I want to show you an outtake from the Bassy and Johnny's interview. So note, trigger warning, this is an outtake.
So how did you get into this world, Johnny?
It was very dark, and then at one point I put my fingers through this wall, and I put my face through.
Like Kool-Aid, man. Oh yeah.
And there was a guy that pulled my head out, and that's how I came into this world.
Wow. And then after that, let's do a little bit of summary.
Well,
so after that,
the first thing that happened, John, is you got cut.
Yeah, they took this cord, this thing that I was dependent on, and they cut the cord, and I was on my own ever since.
And John hasn't watched cable TV since then.
Mm-hmm.
Really? After he cut the cord?